How's it going, guys? It's Tommy Gunn with TG Studios 512, and I am super stoked to be this month's special guest on Batman Statue Collectors. As some of you have seen, I've been on YouTube, and I have not been on YouTube for that long. I believe it's just been about a little bit less than a year. Ever since I moved into this home, I was like, you know what? I might as well just start a YouTube channel. I had a lot of time on my hands, and I'm happy I've been doing that, and I'm happy that Chris invited me to speak and let you know a little bit about myself. And my name is Thomas, but everybody knows me as Tommy Gunn. I am originally from Mexico. I moved to Corpus Christi, and 10 years ago, I moved to Austin, Texas. So let's start talking about myself. I am from Mexico. I have moved to the States when I was around junior high. I did not know how to speak English. Spanish is my first. English, I took a little bit of German and some Japanese, but I'm not there yet. But anyways, I've always loved movies, cartoons, TV shows, video games. I've always been into that. My parents are very strict, Mexican, old cultured, so they did not understand my obsession with comics and anime and everything. So since I was a kid, I've always collected. First, I started collecting like GI Joes, Transformers, but I did not appreciate as a collector. I'm going to buy these, play with them, and destroy them. That was my mentality back then. I wish I would have kept those in mint condition. But I started with Marvel. It was all Hulk, and in DC it was Batman. But I concentrated a lot more with Hulk. So I started purchasing Bowen statues. But back in the day, I remember the statues used to be like $200-300 for a 1/4 scale, or a 1/6 scale. But the Bowens were the ones that started it all. I'll be showing those to you pretty soon. And I always collected my comic books. Never collected anime statues. Back then, they weren't that big. But there was a few Batman ones, but at the time I was going to school, my wife was going to school. There was hardly any money. It was kind of tough. So the little that you purchased, I mean, you appreciated it, you displayed it and stuff, but it always starts somewhere. And I'll show you the very first statue that I ever purchased, and the first statue that my wife purchased me was a good surprise. It's a good story. I'll tell you here in a bit. So I did started collecting anime, like the toys, the Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is the one that is pretty big. Right now, we as TG Comics and TG Studios 512, we design statues for some of the companies in Singapore and Japan and some other companies that I cannot say yet, but some of the big companies in Singapore that y'all know. So fingers crossed. But we do design some of the statues. But I collected a lot of the Dragon Ball Z toys, and I think I had a Joker bust and Batman versus Croc. But in Corpus Christi, where I lived most of my life, most of my adult life, we had to move out. I needed something different. I needed a bigger city. I was just a big fish in a small pond, working in radio and TV. I've always been in communications. So and it was hard, but I will do it again. I sold almost all of my collection to move my family over to Austin, Texas. Starting over here, it was fun. It was a new experience. I started working at a high school. I was after school coordinator, the school coordinator. But I've always had a dream of starting my own business. I've always been a concept artist, and I've always been in sales, and I could speak, and I get to know people better, what they want, what they like. So I started my company, TG Comics 512. I started helping a lot of my friends that were great artists. I had some concepts. I have flaws. They're good at things that I needed to be done. We started working together, and I started managing artists, and we started doing projects together. We started going to comic cons. We started going to anime cons, and that became my full time. Where we do concept art for whatever company, if it's Marvel, if it's DC, if it's Funimation or whatever. And we have a huge fan base where when we go to these cons, they seek us out for the new art that we're doing, autographs, all that stuff. There's been some big projects that we've done with some companies. But that brought more income and opportunities to work with other company or people, the artists that I grew up reading and watching, reading their comic books, you know. So we did design a few things before them, but that opened doors to start collecting all the stuff that I sold and recollect that stuff that I sold to move my family to Austin. One thing that all of us should be very appreciative is of our spouses, if it's your wife or it's your husband, that they support our addiction in this collecting world, you know, because it's not cheap. It is not cheap, so we try to save up for it. We try to sell some stuff that we're comfortable in getting rid of, and that I mean that's the game, you know. New thing, there's always new stuff coming out. So at that time when I was collecting nothing but Hulk, if you can see a lot of the stuff over here, I've always been a Hulk fan and a Batman fan. So I was like, you know what, I need to collect more. I need to expand the collection. Other because I love Spider-Man too. I love Superman. They're all pretty much every villain from Batman is one of my favorites. I think Batman would have the best villains out of any character in any comic book. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to dedicate myself to start expanding that collection. So when we moved to here to Austin, it started little by little. Started looking at different collections. New statues started coming out. Started saving up. Um, Started becoming good friends with other groups locally. So they help out by, hey, I have the statue. They're not going to sell it for 3 or 4 times more than what it originally was because we're not here to. I'm not here, and I know that that group is not here to make money, but for the passion of the collection. Ever since I moved here, I have not. Well, I have not sold a statue except for a few weeks ago, but World of Warcraft, it just doesn't go with what I have. So I continued collecting a little bit more and more and more. Started expanding with other DC characters, other Marvel characters, and then 2 years ago we did a show in Dallas called KamehaCon, and I saw somebody with a Dragon Ball Z statue. I did not know they existed. In 2 years, I think I have collected over at least 100 Dragon Ball Z statues. I know this is not comic, but this is my collection. It's a variety of everything. I mean, you have your Voltrons, you have your Marvels, you have your DCs, you have your anime that's over here. It's abroad. It's all the stuff that I love, and there's still a lot more statues out there that I would love to collect. So one time there was this statue that came out. It was the Hulk versus Silver Surfer. It was Planet Hulk, and I wanted it so bad. But back in the day, I think it was like 350 bucks. But like I said, I was in school, I was working, but it was just barely to pay my bills and everything. So I started DJing on the side, and I was like, you know what? I had a gig. I was gonna do a wedding, and I went to the comic book store, and they had that statue, the exclusive, the one with the mohawk, with the helmet. And I was like, I want it, bro. Can you hold it for me? And he goes, sure. I was like, I have a wedding this weekend. I'll have the cash, and I'll come and get it. I'll come and get it Monday or something. So I did the wedding. I was really excited. I went to the store, and the comic book store owner, who's all like, "Dude, I am so sorry," and I was like, "Oh no, please tell me." I was like, "Don't tell me you sold it." And he goes, "Yeah, I sold it." And I was like, "Oh my god." I was devastated, where I kind of like, you know what? Okay, I walked out of the store. I did not. I used to hang out at the comic book store at least 2 or 3 times a week, and we just talked for hours about whatever comic we were reading that week. And I didn't do that for the next 2 weeks, and I was getting phone calls from the comic book store owner. He's all like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I've just been busy," but it was not true. I was just kind of disappointed that, I mean, he told me he was going to hold the statue, but it's a business. I should not hold that against him. Christmas came, and I get a big box from my wife. I opened it, and I cried like a little baby. She's the one that saved up. She's been saving up for a while because she knew how bad I wanted this statue, and she went and purchased it. I was bawling, and I felt so guilty because I was so mad at the comic book store owner, and I went over there. I apologized, and I took him some candy or some presents and stuff like that. It's like, oh my god, I was like, I can't believe y'all did this. It was a huge surprise, but like I said, it's like thanks to our our wives, our husbands that support our love for collecting. And a lot of people ask me why the Hulk. The Hulk, he has a double personality that I love. That he's very smart, but at times when he gets angry, I mean, he becomes the Hulk, and that is something a little bit about myself. I am not a violent person. A lot of people, when they see me, the big beard. I ride my motorcycle, leather, and everything is like, "Arr," but I am complete opposite. I think I am more immature than my kids. They're more of a school and math and science, and myself, and is like, I'm gonna collect my toys and statues and stuff. But I mean, that's who they are, and that's who I am. But I try to be outgoing with everybody. I like to have as many friends as possible. Try to help as many people as possible. Um, because I mean, that's what makes this world better. And as us as statue collectors, I love seeing everybody's new statue come in. I was like, oh, I wish I had that, later on. But thank you for showing. And there's a lot of stuff that I have that a lot of people don't, and I like to share that with everybody. And I'm glad y'all are giving me the opportunity to do that here today on Batman Statue Collectors. And and I'm going to show you around my room. A lot of people have been watching my channel and stuff, but I mean, like I said, it's like I'm new. So we're going to look around. If you have any other questions, you can tell Chris or comment below and stuff, because there's so many questions that I get all the time. But those are pretty much it. It's like, what do I do, where I'm from, and what made me start collecting. It's just the love for comics and anime. But let's walk around and look in the room, All right. So let's start looking around in my room. I do have this main room that is my office. I just started moving a lot of the Prime Ones to another room. I have those videos on my channel on TG Studios 512. So if some things are out of place, it's because I'm moving stuff. And I have this main room. This is where I have most of my large collection. My Prime One studio is going to be outside of the hall, and then downstairs I have my anime room. I do have anime in here because it's not going to fit downstairs. But let's start off with DC. So we started on this side of the room. Like I said, we moved here about a year ago. I needed a place where to put all my statues. Most of my stuff was in storage. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to move all of this stuff. So I rented a huge trailer, and I filled it up with boxes. But it's grown in the last 10 years that I've lived here, where I started with all Hulks, and this big guy is the one everybody's asking me. Is like, oh my God, the size of that Hulk. But I'll tell you a little bit more about him here later. But starting on this side, we do have your DC. You got your Samurai line. I am getting the Batman on the horse. I'm not sure if I'm going to get the rest, like your Nightwing, your Robin. Right now I say no, but tomorrow I'm pretty sure I'm going to say yes as soon as it comes out. But we start off with your Voltrons. In here, we try to do live streaming. We do your podcast. We do live art. A lot of stuff. So we start off down here. We got your Lobo and your Hellboy. And you got your puppy dog. And if you've seen my channel, you know that I do have an English bulldog, and I love him to death. His name is Logan. Then we go to your Batman and Joker. And those are some of the first Batman and Jokers that I collected before I started collecting other than Hulk. Then we got your Samurai line. You got your Poison Ivy, Batgirl. These are new. They came in at the end of last year, I believe. And I did some Christmas specials. As you can see, we got her here, but I'm just moving around, so I put her there with her two bodyguards to take care of her. You got your Catwoman. Now, all these shelves are custom made. Now, because I'm still moving stuff around, when you do move these shelves, they do scratch these guys. But once everything is in place, I'm going to retouch and paint all of these guys again, because I still need to put LEDs in the boxes. Now, I do have the track lights on top. They do help. They are all Wi-Fi. They're controlled with my phone. But there's still a lot of dark spaces, especially like this Catwoman. See how dark it is? So I'm going to be putting LEDs all in here. Then we'll come over here to some more busts. You know, your Hush Superman. One of my favorites. This thing is enormous. Now, these busts do go with interchangeable heads with my Prime 1s. Last year, I did get this Batman and the XE suit. And then a few days ago, I got this beautiful piece, metal Batman Who Laughs. I would say it's one of my favorite in my collection as of right now. Now, this is what I have in DC, but I have more Prime 1s that I'm going to show y'all here in a bit. We jump to some XM Studios. You got your Ghost Rider. And then we do have your custom light up head. For a long time, this has been my favorite statue in my collection. It is huge. And we got some custom piece with Captain America and Iron Man. This piece I did get for my wife also for Father's Day. I have been looking for this piece for a very long time, but as if you know, it's not cheap. But she got a good deal, and she surprised me because, you know, 2 for 2 if she got 2 of my favorite pieces that I've always wanted, and she got me this one and the Hulk versus Silver Surfer. Now we go down here with your Hulk versus Wolverine, your Lady Deadpool. And as I told y'all that we are artists, one of my artists, ever since I got this statue, he did this for me. Now I need to figure out where I'm going to display it. I don't know if I'm going to put it probably back there, but look how beautiful this is. Those are my Bowen. Those are the first ones that started it all. Bowen has great pieces, but all of them look the same stand, same base, but I didn't care. I was like, oh, when I had these, I was like, I thought I was royalty because I was like, nobody has these. But I was like, no, a lot of people do. But these are the ones that started it all. And we got your Spider-Man 2099, Mysterio. And you got your Avengers through Sideshow. Then we go to your Hulks. You got Scar, Hulk's son. Then you got that one from the movie. Now, I did get lucky with this guy at one of the cons. He was available at Half Price Books. They had a booth there. And I was like, what? And they said, yeah, it's for sale and it's 20% off. And I was like, okay, because I've seen it for like $500 to $600 plus, and they had it for $200. And I was like, oh, done. I got really lucky with that one. Then we jump over here. You got your ECC Hulk. You got your Ultron in the back. Now that is a Halamal. I believe there was only 60 made of this Old Man Logan custom piece. Does have a fabric, a little baby Hulk. Great story, and the movie was awesome. I mean, it was nothing like the comic book, but it was still good. But it's one of my favorite short stories with Marvel. And then the one that everybody wants to know about is this big guy. He is a 1/2 scale Hulk. Now, when I did get him, it did have a few dings, and I need to find somebody who could fix the stuff. It's like from here, here, and there. Nothing major, but it's just small little cracks. The shipping broke off and stuff, but it's intact. It is a 1/2 scale. Here, let me look at that. And as you can see, that's why I'm going to put more LED lights, because I need something to shine inside the box. But that is a gorgeous piece. And there's the Hulk versus Silver Surfer. You got your Groot, your Rocket. But this is by Halamal. I believe there was only less than 5 that I heard. But this guy is an artist proof. This is also a Halamal. This is also artist proof. The light on. The eye turns on. There we go. So you got Hulk Maestro sitting on a big pile of dead heroes and villains on top of a Sentinel. So the 1/2 scale, this big guy right here, it is an artist proof. The other Halamal that I have is King Hulk, the World Breaker. This is an exclusive, but it's also the artist proof. These are 3 of my favorite Hulks that I have. That one. And the 1/2 scale. So we'll jump up here, and I know Alice in Wonderland's hanging out with Hulk because he likes big thighs. Like I said, I'm moving stuff around, so I put her up there for right now. I need to move her to her right place. So you got your Hulk bust, you got your premium format Hulk, your Venom bust, and you got your Spider-Man in the symbiote suit, your Deadpool bust, and your Deadpool that goes with Lady Deadpool you saw earlier. You got your Deadpool on a rocket. And Spider-Man. Now this is by Queen Studios. And the one on the right, it is a custom piece with Spider-Man tearing off Venom when he started ringing the bell. And we got your Gladiator Hulk. little custom red Hulk that I did. I painted him up. More Hulk. And you got your Iron Man suit, the Hulk Buster. So this is all my Marvel, going all the way to DC. And I want to grow my DC a lot more. Got your Naruto's. Got all these comics. Like I said, I've been rearranging. I'm going to be displaying a lot of these Frank Miller comics with the Frank Miller Prime 1. Still organizing all that. Then we have over here your Punisher, your Lady Terminator, and the Terminator head or bust. Let's turn these guys on. Beautiful. Love these pieces. And I don't want this to be too long, so we're going to go over here. This is my anime wall. So we got all your Dragon Ball Z, you got your One Piece, more Dragon Ball Z, we got your One Punch Man, and then more One Piece and Naruto pieces. But this is the other side of my office. So yeah, it's a nice place where you could just chill, sit down, watch some TV, listen to some music, or play some VR. Like I said, it's like I have a mess in here. I have not really cleaned much. And this is my little desk and sitting area where I play my games and all that. You got your Batman chair. Very comfortable. But let's go check out the Prime 1s. Now, my previous videos, I've been showing everybody that I needed to move these guys out. So I started putting up a lot of my original paintings and drawings and stuff, but I needed to move these guys out. Got your Harley Quinn, Prime 1, the Dark Knight and Arkham game, Frank Miller, another Batman, and you got your Deathstroke. Did have this autographed by Michael Keaton. The figure in there is also autographed. I am getting the Prime 1 Pennywise. I'm also getting the Nun, so that way I could display them out here because those pieces are enormous. So I don't think the shelves are going to work. But yeah, I've been working on this week, so it's not done yet. If later I get invited again, I'll show you the complete work, or you could just go and check it out on my channel. So this is the Prime 1, and I'll show you the downstairs really quick, and then we're done. But before I go downstairs, this is my Jason and Freddy Krueger. I did get these from Robert Englund and from Jason himself. We did a show, I did a few things for him, and he gave me a glove. This is God, Freddy, Robert Englund to Tommy. It is metal, and Jason's mask. Or it says Tommy. Put it in a shadow box. I just put it in there for right now, and we could find a place for it. And this is the room downstairs. Like I said, it's like more anime. You got your Dragon Ball. You have your My Hero Academia, Naruto. A lot of the PVC collection stuff that it stays in the box. Some Gundam, some Supersonicos. This is a nice little sitting area where I just chill right here with this gremlin, read a book, watch, just look at the collection. And more PVC and little statues. So yeah, this is the downstairs. Like I said, it's like I'm still working on it, putting more backgrounds, more posters. A lot of the work that we've done, we're going to be putting it behind these guys. But people walk in right here in the front door and they're like, oh my God, it's like a store. Yeah, there was no way I would be able to fit this upstairs. So I'm glad the house is pretty big. So yeah, there's a little tour of my office and my collection, a little bit about myself. Now you know me a little bit more. I like to get to know a lot more other people. If you like to comment, like, and subscribe. If you like to see my channel and new stuff that comes in and how I start fixing this stuff, start adding more lights and everything, you could follow me in TG Studios 512. It's not a cheap hobby, but it's a fun one. And I'd like to thank Chris with Batman Statue Collector, and he'll see you at the Batcave. Later, guys.